Shwmae bawb! Hello everyone, I'm Jason Shepherd from the Learn Welsh podcast, and today an important topic that we are going to discuss. Why do British people say sorry all the time? If you visit Britain, you'll be wondering why everybody says sorry. Why do we apologise so much? Well, actually, a lot of the time when we use sorry, we're not actually apologising. But I've got two articles here, one looking at it from an English perspective by the by the BBC, and then the British Council are looking at it from a British perspective. So let's look at those articles, and I will give you some of my points in between. Right, so the article from the British Council, why do the British people say sorry so much? British people are famous for apologising in almost every situation. Whether we are apologising for asking a question, for our bad weather, or because we sneezed, we are probably the number one nation for apologies. Well, let's look at those first. Apologising for asking a question? That's true. You're not actually feeling sorry, you're just being polite. And you'd say something like, sorry to disturb you. Could you tell me the time? Or, sorry, excuse me, could you tell me where High Street is? Oh, thank you very much, and so on. Now the next one, we apologise for our bad weather. Say you're visiting Swansea, you're a friend of mine. I'll say, oh, it's raining today. Oh, I'm so sorry it's raining. You've come all the way down to Swansea and it's raining. Sorry about that. It's not my fault, but that's what we say. The third one, saying sorry because we sneezed. Yes, that is true. People go, sorry, or sorry about that. It's just being polite. It's not actually feeling remorse. Sorry tends to be being remorseful for something you've done wrong. In this case, it's just a polite word. Right, we Brits pride ourselves on our polite manners towards one another in public. So we often use the word sorry quite a bit, even if we don't really mean it. We'll come to that. If you want to ask a stranger for the time, we've just done that. You would say, sorry to bother you. Do you know what the time is? If you're 5 minutes late for an appointment, you would generally greet the person by saying, sorry, I'm late. If you're 15 minutes late, you may be even more apologetic and say, I'm so sorry I'm late. That's true. Main dictionary definitions are feeling sad for someone because of their problems or misfortunes, or feeling regret because you've done something wrong. Now think about this. When you want to ask a stranger a question, you start with, sorry to disturb you. In this situation, we aren't saying sorry because we feel sad for that person or because we feel regret. No, we're not. We're being polite. It's also, apparently, a clever way to get what you want. Now, in a recent experiment, an actor approached different strangers on a rainy day to ask if he could use their mobile phone to make a call. When he approached one of the strangers and asked them without apologising first, he was 9% successful in borrowing their phone. However, when he apologised to another group of strangers about the bad weather before asking if he could use their mobile phones, he was 47% successful. So saying sorry is not just being polite, it's also a good method to get what you want too. But it's true, if you're polite to somebody, they're more willing to help you. Definitely. Okay, so let's look at the other article on here, which is a BBC article. It's quite a long one, so I will just give you bits of the article and my own perspective. Why do the British say sorry so much? British are famous for how frequently they say sorry even when they're not at fault. But does the data hold up this stereotype? And is apologising so often really that bad? Your average Briton has blurted out at least one apology in the past hour or two. A survey has found that of 1,000 Brits, the average person says sorry 8 times a day. That's 1 in 8 people apologise 20 times a day. We'll apologise sometimes, but not mean it. So somebody will bump into me and I'll automatically say sorry to them because I'm British. It's a reflex action. So they'll go, oh, and I go, oh, sorry. And then I walk off and I'll be grumbling. Oh, what's the matter with those people? They're banging into me and let me apologise and they didn't say a word. It's their fault. And you'll be grumbling that, probably in your head or to your friend. That's a different kind of apology. It's an apology not meant. Another kind, people will go, sorry, and they will be really sarcastic. You bumped into me. Oh, did I bump into you? Oh, I'm really sorry about that. You'll hear that occasionally. We're not always as polite as you expect us to be, as Brits. Do the British really apologise more frequently than members of other cultures? They say it's hard to find data. So this lady called Kate Fox wanted to find out how true the apology thing was. She is a social anthropologist, so she deliberately bumped into hundreds of people in towns and cities across England and encouraged her colleagues to do the same. For comparison, and they found that 80% of English victims, so people that were bumped, said sorry even though they didn't cause the collisions and it was clearly the lady's fault. Often the apology was mumbled, and possibly people even said it without realising. But compared to when tourists from other countries were bumped, the difference was marked. Only the Japanese seemed to have anything even approaching the English sorry reflex. We use sorry in different ways, it says. We don't necessarily say it to be remorseful, which we talked about earlier. We can use it to express sympathy. So I might say, I'm sorry about something. Like, oh, I'm sorry about the rain. Or if somebody's relative had died, oh, I'm so sorry about your loss. Or if your football team lost and mine won, I'm so sorry that your football team lost. I'm really sorry. Or you might mean it as well. I'm so sorry that your football team lost. Yeah, and another thing is personal space. If we get too close to somebody, we might say sorry. You know, oh, sorry. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to get in your way. Or, yes, this is a good one. Sitting down next to somebody, maybe on a park bench or in a restaurant, we'd say, sorry to interrupt. Is it okay if I sit here? So yeah, we say sorry if we think we're invading somebody's privacy as well. Let's talk about, is it a sign of weakness? Well, no, everybody does it. Even big, butch, muscle men. We all do it. It's ingrained in British people to be polite, to empathise, to occasionally apologise as well. Well, those articles were interesting. There were some points there that I agreed with, and I think I gave you some examples of how we would say sorry and the different ways we would use that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the videos. I tend to do 2 videos a week. One will be a Welsh language video for those learning Welsh, but we'll also have videos looking at different things in Welsh and British culture, things like this, or looking at lists, 50 things somebody would understand if they're British, those kind of things. Bit of fun. So if you'd like to join us, why not subscribe? Click the subscribe button, and if you want to know about all of our videos, click the bell next to it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to support what we are doing here, why not go to my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/learnwelsh, and any money that you give us there, you'll get some great Welsh learning materials to help you to learn the Welsh language. If you don't like Patreon, there's another way. Go to learnwelshnow.co.uk and you can join the Learn Welsh Podcast Club. $5.99 a month, cancel the subscription anytime, and you get a lot of the same materials that you get on Patreon. And if you can't give us any help that way, just liking our videos, sharing them, commenting on them, and watching our videos is fantastic support. Thank you so much for being here, for being with us today. And all I can say now is it's time to go, and I'm going to say goodbye. Hoi! Bye bye!